Hello everyone!
Back to my channel.
Subscribe already. I hate when people do that. I hate when it's the start of the video and people are like, subscribe, and I'm like, why? You've not shown me anything that I like to
subscribe to my hellos.
Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today, Shaun is with me and he is being very irritating.
Oh, we've been here for like 2 hours now. So.
We just filmed a very, very long video talking about our predictions for who will win the Olivier Awards this year. So, will that have gone out already? I don't know.
I don't know, we're delirious either way,
yeah,
so it doesn't
we've
really
lost
matter.
it. But we wanted to film a much quicker video talking about the categories that we would add to the Olivier Awards if we had that power. I think we're gonna go for 6, 3 each, but I feel like we've probably got a couple of the same ones.
I put a few more than 3 just because I think we might cross over.
We've got extra options.
So we were talking about this because I tweeted a tweet the other day and you thought the same thought already.
Tweeted a tweet.
I tweeted a tweet that said about how I think they should add the Best Ensemble Award to the Olivier Awards.
Category number 1.
yeah, true.
Yeah.
Did you put this one as well?
Yes.
Because
I was genuinely thinking this the other day and I was like, whoa, have you read my mind?
Yeah, it came about like this because I think the Olivier Awards, we were saying in our Olivier prediction video actually, about how the Olivier Awards are very different to most normal award ceremonies that have kind of a prestige about them. It's different because it has some very odd awards. It has affiliate theatres, obviously, because depending on how you vote for the Olivier Awards and how you can be eligible, which also, I'm not going to repeat myself, so it comes up in our prediction video, so go and watch that. Yeah. And also about how they have some different awards. So they have like achievement in music, which is different to obviously a score and things like that. So I think there is space for other different awards. So my tweet came from saying there should be a Best Ensemble Award because I think some shows are actually really strong because of their ensemble, or ensemble adds a lot. The 2 shows I had in mind when I thought about this were Hamilton. I think the ensemble of Hamilton is... I think that Jason Pennycook is the best part of Hamilton when I saw that before, and if not, Rachel John. But I actually truly think that if anything is the best part, it's the ensemble, because I think the show wouldn't work if it didn't have the ensemble, and it really does add a very special element of storytelling. The other one I feel like that about is 42nd Street. I think that has an amazing ensemble to it. It's huge, like 40 people, so that's crazy as well. And if another one coming to plays, we were saying in the prediction video as well, The Ferryman feels like an ensemble cast, so maybe you could consider them as being an ensemble in that setting as well. It wouldn't necessarily just have to be about musicals. You could nominate an entire company, or like Oslo I said was a great ensemble show, and if anything, that was an amazing ensemble that I think Peter Polycarpou obviously stood out enough to be nominated for that in that great play, but in fact the whole cast felt like an ensemble. So they're kind of examples, if that existed, of what I think would be nominees this year.
And I think it'd be a wonderful category to have because you do have so many amazing people in shows that they're not a big enough part to be nominated for anything, but it would just be so lovely. It's like how we were saying at the end of the predictions video about the School of Rock kids getting the outstanding achievement in music. It's that kind of like really heartwarming thing of like, the ensemble are doing so much for that show and they're not necessarily getting the sort of the recognition for it, because a show can win like best musical or whatever, or best play, but it's not as specific as I think it could be, and I think it'd be really lovely.
I was thinking today when I was in the shower though, a funny thing that came to mind.
Shower thoughts?
Shower thoughts today. I was thinking then, if someone did one, if the show, say Hamilton won Best Ensemble, where does the award go and who accepts the award? Yeah. Because the only other thing I can think about that's of equal idea of a person not being nominated is play or musical, well, play is different because actually if you win Best Play you actually do win the award because you wrote it. But Best Musical, that goes to the producers of the musical. So who wins the Best Ensemble Award? Now my thought would be it would be displayed in the theatre. Yeah. But what if it's closed? Yeah. And then who does it go to?
I think maybe if everyone got not necessarily an award, which would be weird because obviously it's the Olivier Awards, but like a certificate of some sort. Kind of imagining like a graduation scroll.
I'm thinking I thought that, or my alternative idea would be that there's almost an award that, like, you know, when you were at school, someone won like a hockey tournament and it got engraved on the
that's a nice idea. Yeah.
And it gets passed around. Almost like that,
lovely.
And it gets moved between. Thanks. It gets moved between the theatres. So Hamilton was it this year, and next year Company wins it, and they take
and then
it,
it passes on to the theatre.
Yeah, and then it goes and sits in that theatre, or it sits in the theatre. So say Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf, but Best Ensemble. I know it's not an ensemble; it's like a 4 lead actors, but whatever. That's closed now. Oslo, okay, say Oslo won. So it would then sit in the National if they wanted to, or it would sit in the Harold Pinter, even though the shows are there anymore, it would sit in like a case there or something, and it would represent that being that year's award.
That's a good idea. That's a really great idea.
Because that came to mind because at the RSC they have a cabinet in their gift shop which is full of some of their iconic awards. So it has their Tony Award for Twelfth Night and their Olivier Award for Twelfth Night and things like that. That's where they sit instead of sitting in the producers' houses. So they put one there. I think I'm onto something there. So
that's genius.
I'm
here for that.
So if anyone's wondering, that's what I think should go.
That's a great idea, and I think it's a genuinely really good idea for a category.
I think it's really nice.
Yeah.
Right, we haven't heard each other's, by the way, so I'm excited to see what we.
So I definitely had.
Yours are probably more edgy than mine. Mine are a bit more. We just don't have that, and I think that should be an award.
Yeah.
So yours probably a bit more crazy. So
I think mine are a little bit more crazy.
Okay,
yeah.
so
the one thing I really loved when the Olivier Awards were at the Royal Opera House was, well, the event that they had going on in Covent Garden, which is obviously where the Royal Opera House is. I loved that. I went for a few years.
Yep,
so it was just so much fun. I think I actually saw you in the crowd.
Yeah, I saw you once taking photos. You were volunteering.
And we weren't friends though.
We weren't friends.
Cute. Not cute that we weren't friends, but
it was great that time. I really missed that time.
So good. Yeah, I loved that aspect of like the community and the fans of the shows, because basically they held the thing in Covent Garden to show it was like the long running musicals that were up for I think it was like Magic Radio or something. Magic Radio's Audience Award, I think it was called. And they don't do that anymore because they don't have the whole event, but it was really wonderful because I'm not bitter about it, that's probably the wrong way to put it, but I get really annoyed about how there's not so much of the community aspect in terms of the theatre world itself kind of giving back to fans over here. So like for example over on Broadway they have like just loads of like concerts out in public that are completely
like Broadway
free.
and Schubert Alley and stuff. Yeah. They have that live concert, which is a bit like their West End Live, but
yeah, like we've got West End Live, and now that they've taken away the Olivier event, like that's literally the only thing that we have. And I'm not saying that that's not great, but I feel like just the Broadway community, they give back so much to the fans, and it was really nice for the fans to feel like they had some sort of say in the Oliviers. I thought that was really nice. So that sort of similar thing coming back I think would be really wonderful, or not even just for the long running shows, but just sort
checking
of
my
like,
I'm not ignoring Rukaya.
That's okay.
If anyone's wondering why I'm looking at, I'm trying to check what mine are.
Looking at his other friends. No, just to have some sort of thing like, you know, so for example for this past year, like the fans nominate a show and then it's shortlisted, and obviously then pick a show that's won, and then I know it kind of goes against what the Oliviers are sort of about, but I just think it would be really nice to have a category.
So the Audience Award.
Yeah, pretty much the Audience Award again, but not necessarily, because it was always just sort of the long runners really. It was the big shows, wasn't it? Like Les Mis fan, and it was always the same shows all the time. So I think it wouldn't necessarily have to be that, but you know, whatever's been on in that past year. Doesn't matter if it closed within 3 months or if it was on for extended time, like an audience-based award. I would like to have that back. And that event, because that event was so fun.
Yeah, I love that event when they used to be at Covent Garden. Okay, the next one I'm going to try and go on a similar vein then. My next one that I thought of that was a bit different was Contribution of the Year, I'd call it, or something of that ilk, or it would be something like Gillian Lynn's Contribution Award, thinking of her being named after things at the moment with the New London, you know, something like that. And I think the idea of it would be random people that just deserved kind of not like lifetime achievement, but deserved, you know, annual achievement almost. So my ideas for like what could be in the mix, I was thinking of things even in New York as well, because I couldn't think of a London equivalent, but I think about, so you'd have something like Sonia Friedman for her work on, and list all like her work that year or something. I mean, she deserves a lifetime achievement, but not yet, because she's not, you know, not near the end of her lifetime yet. You know, something like that. And then you'd have like Bernadette Peters for her takeover as Dolly in Hello Dolly, and then you'd have like a bit like the Musical Achievement Award, almost in a similar way. You know, you'd have like, you know, the Band of Follies for their achievement of this, but you wouldn't necessarily have that. So you could have like the team of Bat Out of Hell sound design for mixing sound design at the London Coliseum, and
so more of like an individual but not
Barry Ann
specific
Elliott
award.
for her work on the revisal of Company, you know, things like that. So yeah, not necessarily for anything in particular, but things that were landmark that just could be recognised, or not even necessarily an award, but more like you know, the Be Inspired Award they're doing this year that has like 4 listed winners. Maybe have like a list of like 5 things that are like, these were 5 iconic things this year that just deserve a bit of recognition.
Not even necessarily an award as such, but
yeah,
like
exactly.
a shout-out.
Just a shout out almost. Yeah, because coming back to what I said about in our prediction video, saying that things that win Best Play and Best Musical in my head are things that should then just be
remembered
as a way of being remembered in like 20 years' time. I look back on things that won Oscars and Tonys and Olivier's 20 years ago and look at them as being the iconic things of those years. It would almost be like a way of just thinking they were 5 iconic things or whatever that really defined theatre in our year. That was an iconic takeover someone did, or someone did that. Because I just think things like that, I don't think necessarily they deserve their own award. Like, I don't know if you might have put Best Takeover as an award. I don't.
I have.
I can imagine you would, because you like Wicked and so, you know, long runners, and people like long runners. I don't necessarily know if that's worthy of an award for the same reason I said before. Sorry to keep going back to that video, but if you watch the prediction one, we also say in there for a bit about the prestige idea of the healthy prestige maybe that's sometimes in awards. So that's why I don't necessarily think that takeover. But then there are cases where there are takeovers that are so iconic, like Bernadette Peters in Hello Dolly, or Betty Buckley doing it on tour, for example, that you then want, you know, so I think that does maybe deserve iconic recognition because it has completely reinvented that piece. Or I feel like there's one on the tip of my tongue that happened in London recently that I thought like, wow, that takeover completely reshaped this show, and I can't remember what it was because I was talking about it the other day, but it'll come back to me, I'm sure, at some point in this video. Oh, it was this is so random, and you definitely have an opinion, so I'm not gonna let you talk about it. There's one I saw the other day on Twitter about Ariana Grande playing Elphaba in Wicked, which is clearly like a rumour that's never going to get picked up. But I saw that and I thought, like, I was talking in a group chat of a couple of my friends that don't do like theatre online stuff, but they're just theatre friends, and I was saying to them, like, I think it's a really cool idea because it's a long runner and it just will really change the face of the show a little bit, and it would just be a bit of fun really to do with, you know, to mix up a bit of a long runner. And in that perspective, you know, thinking about that would maybe be something that would be listed as like, not even necessarily Ariana Grande for her work, but it would be like producer Mark Platt and actress Ariana Grande for their reinvention of Wicked for a while, you know, things like that. So I'm sure you have a very negative opinion on the idea of it, so I'm not going to let you say anything, but I love the idea of it. So, so don't chew my head off, guys. I think it'd be a bit of fun, at least a concert, or maybe like a week, 5 weeks, I don't know, just a bit of fun. But
I'm like
not.
Jumping from that to just reiterate, I was gonna, I don't think I actually wrote it down, like a best replacement or and not even necessarily just in musicals or just for plays, it could be a mixed category. I think, because you're right, you do get some people, especially people like Bernadette Peters, and you're like, if they are doing an incredible performance, then it feels like it could be, it'd be nice for it to be recognised.
Yeah, definitely, especially if there's iconic roles like that and they're taking over from those. Like if someone took over from Imelda Staunton in Gypsy kind of thing. I'm sure if they'd have taken over, you know,
and especially in the long runners as well, because obviously, like, for them, it's like, well, they've won the awards that they can win, really. Apart from, wasn't it at the What's on Stage Awards that, like, the Les Mis cast recording?
I just saw cast recording on your list. We'll come back to this. Spoilers! Sorry! We'll come back to that in a minute, because I was just formulating a discussion about that. So we'll come back to that.
But that was a really random one,
some things,
wasn't it?
the only way they can ever really access awards was the audience award.
Yeah, exactly.
And I don't know how I feel about revisiting shows for the sake of awards, because I feel like that's a bit... But then things like the Emmys do that every year, which I've always found interesting. Of course, they're a long-running show, so each season, of course, they would now be eligible again for drama series. But I don't know, I think like, Mad Men comes to mind. So Mad Men won Best Drama Series at the Emmys 4 years running because it was the best drama series those 4 years. So maybe there should be, like the Audience Award, maybe there could be a Best Musical as opposed to a Best New Musical award. What is still the best musical now, you know? And a show could win for 5 years running, who knows?
And it also would be really interesting because, like, I know that a lot of people think that some long runners are kind of feeling tired in some aspects. So I wonder how, if they were to add a category like that, how it would actually change those shows if they were like, I'm
sure it would. London differs greatly to like Broadway. I mean, Broadway only has 3 long runners really: Wicked, Chicago, and Phantom. I can't think of any other.
I don't think
there probably is one glaringly obvious one, but I think there's only the 3
Stomp.
of them. I mean, that's off Broadway, so I don't think there's necessarily any other more than 10-year runners that are currently running.
Lion King.
Oh yeah, Lion King. Of course, that's the one that's blindly obvious.
But that's kind of it, really. Isn't
and that's it. They don't really have. I think I calculated one time. We've discussed before about shows being stuck over 10 that have run for over a decade, and we have a lot of them. I mean, some of them have run over 30 years at this point. And I agree with you that maybe that would change the face of the idea of a long runner, because as much as long run is a great idea. I do think there's a time there's other things. It has to run out at some point.
Be like refreshed.
The day that Phantom closes, and Les Mis, I'm shook. And Wicked. The day Wicked.
Needs to go
The day you get a
first.
Wicked revival. I can imagine. The day you
Someone
get a Wicked
actually, I was
revival.
reading online somewhere, someone was like, this is me being a Wicked fangirl, but the Defying Gravity lift on the Wicked tour has been failing a lot recently. And someone commented somewhere, it would be great if like Wicked in London just closed for 6 months and then just like upped the tech, because you think of how much they could do with a show like Wicked that uses kind of like magic and stuff. How much you could add to a show
Obviously, like magic. Like, by the way, it's not real.
yeah. But yeah, how much you could, you know, sort of modernise it in a way. And I was like,
I
that's
think about
really
Phantom, because Phantom still uses the same boat tracks and stuff
Yeah.
as they did in the
I think
80s.
they've just changed like one.
Yeah, they've changed a couple of
One,
it, but I mean, it's still
like, a few little
essentially is the same
things.
thing. Which is crazy. But yeah, I wonder if you closed it for, I mean, 6 months if you opened it again, I don't think that counts as a revival, it's like a return.
Oh no, I'm not talking about it being
But I think it'd be really,
revival,
you know,
but-
what if they closed it for like 10 years, you know, and then it came back to, that'd be so different.
Yeah.
And there are new production things, I mean, the new production of Les Mis is going to tour
Yeah,
the
I'm
UK,
so
and there was a new
excited to
production
see
of Phantom a few years ago, which I wish I'd seen.
Yeah, I remember. God, I
which
didn't
was
see that.
which was a new production that I think maybe Hal Prince did that production as well, maybe, or maybe another. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe someone else did it. But
People
I
love
watched it,
that,
but that was a
though.
new production of Phantom. So it'd be cool maybe to come, you know, to have a different version of a show to come back. Okay, I'm going to bunch two together because they're quite simple ones, and it was just what I was saying about just changing back. We don't have a Best Book of a Musical award at the Olivier Awards.
No, we don't.
Which is a bit strange.
Yeah.
But then I've always thought Book of a Musical is a bit tricky because I think in a lot of cases, definitely as time goes on, the book writer seems to be pretty integral anyway with like
with
it's sometimes the same person as a composer. But I think there's still something to be said about someone who can write a book around someone else's music, you know, because it is a collaborative process. You know, the music wouldn't exist without the story, and the story wouldn't exist without the music existing to be a musical. So I think there is something to be said about books and musicals sometimes. But I can see an argument for why maybe they don't bother because
What if there's not enough?
well, yeah, there might not be enough things that are necessarily stand out as
Yeah.
that, but also because I think there's maybe a bit of a difficulty in cutting the line between where one starts and the other ends. Same as we were
Yeah.
saying about things like the direction choreography of Hamilton. Where does one start and where does the other
Yeah.
end? Because it is very integral to one another. So I can see the argument of not having that, but it feels very strange they won't acknowledge people that have written books for things.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Especially when you have some iconic book writers, you know. Some people write great books, like Don Black, he writes books for Weber things sometimes along with his lyrics, and James Lapine, who writes a lot of books for Sondheim. Like, I know they're not necessarily active now. I'm trying to think of all the words I'm trying to get out now. They're not necessarily active now, but they were active at one point, and they're people that are iconic now.
Yeah.
So to disregard their job,
That's
I think is
crazy, yeah.
weird. And the other alternative to that is I think breaking away achievement in music and score, and I think just having an original score award separately does great justice, because I think you can get many more things into the outstanding achievement this year. You know, they could have added Bat Out of Hell's sound achievement this year. I know it was a sound idea, but it was also the idea of fitting it into, as we said, the operatic space of the London Coliseum. I think that's something that's worthy of that award as well, and would be on par with the idea of having the orchestra from Follies having great, you know, a great performance from them, and the orchestrations go off the North Country, which incidentally isn't another award as well. Whereas at the Tonys, orchestrations is its own award.
Yeah.
Which is an art in
interesting
itself, that you can take someone's, as we said, I think, I don't know what video we've bloody said it now, but orchestrations for something. We said about orchestrations how you don't know how much the composer ever wrote. With Hamilton, we were saying that Lynn probably wrote more than just a piano part. He probably wrote other tech sounds and stuff and implications in the score. But then it was Alex Lacamoire who then orchestrated it in full. And taking someone's work and to then expand it into some cases, you know, 20-piece orchestras. Or I mean, when they did Sunset Boulevard, you know, at the Coliseum and then on Broadway, that was a 40-piece orchestra.
Massive.
To have the kind of brain that can take a score and turn it into 40
that's
instruments,
incredible.
surely you don't play all 40, you know? To be able to do that is something special.
Yeah.
You know, if you listen to a score isn't just played on one instrument. The melodies jump between parts, and that really, you know, and playing a melody piece on a violin at one point and then an oboe on another gives completely different emotional resonance in that. And there's a real art behind that, and I think there should be more. I think it's a
More
shame
recognition to
that
it.
music isn't just one category. Music comes in scores being written, performers and the way they do it, the orchestrations of that, and the sound design that comes with that, because sound design is integral to music performance. Because you wouldn't want to go to a musical and it'd be shit sound design. Bad sound design. Rukaya Cesar's family friendly, sorry everyone.
PG.
Got too into the flow of that, but you know what I mean. So
Yeah.
I think that's my. They're not exciting awards to add in, but I think that
They
as
should
much
be
as
sort
it
of
tries to be a
integral in
bit
a way.
different, they should be there.
Yeah. So it's sort of similar to that. Yeah, I thought it'd be interesting to have one about like new cast recordings, so not old cast recordings.
Like What's on Stage, which had the
which
name is when it's like 30 odd years
bizarre,
old.
Yeah, but I mean new stuff, because I think it's really fascinating to think about cast recordings. I say this mainly because the one for the girls came out recently, and I've actually really enjoyed listening to that. It's been really nice.
Really fun album to listen back to. I appreciate it more now listening back than I did when watching it.
And they've kept like a lot of stuff from the show. They've not just done the songs. I know it sounds really kind of basic. For some cast recordings, it's literally just the songs, but I like that they've included quite a lot of dialogue. It's a really long album actually. And yeah, I just think for us over here in London, a lot of shows, like even new ones, they don't put an album out, and it really frustrates me because I mean, for example, not that there'd be one that I'd rush to listen to, but like everybody's talking about Jamie. Sure, there's an album out, but it's not. It's
There's only
not
a
the
concept
cast.
still. Yeah.
It's just Dan, isn't it? The
Yeah,
guy
and
who
then
wrote
Josie
it.
Walker actually sings her song.
Yeah.
But other than that, it's just a concept album of the music.
So I think if there was an award that obviously people could win, more effort would be made.
There's an argument in this, so I've looked into this before about cast recordings in London. A lot of London shows can't afford to do one, so obviously it costs a lot of money to produce an album and then release it. So that's a real shame.
I was
for a lot of
thinking about
those
this
things.
though, because for example, like Working at the Southwark Playhouse,
I thought
they've just put one out.
I was like, wow, they managed to get the funding for that. That's quite impressive.
'cause I was literally
think it
saying-
depends though, because that's obviously Lynn, and the Lynn songs have never been recorded before, so I'm sure they managed to find it very easy to get money into that project.
I was saying the other day to a few friends, I was like, you could easily crowdfund it. Because fans would absolutely, I mean, bloody hell, I've been in the Wicked fandom for like 6 years. I've been constantly saying like there should be a London cast recording, because the Broadway one is obviously sounding completely different to the London. And for example, shows like Kinky Boots, I'm so glad we've got a London cast recording of that, because
it's quite
it's
different.
painful to listen to the Broadway one with
the
those
accents.
Those accents, oh my god. And like for example, Legally Blonde as well. And
that's an amazing album.
Yeah,
Legally Blonde
with
Broadway
those
one's
two
brilliant.
cast recordings, I love because it's got the audience in there as well. That's the one thing I wish they had.
And live
with the
recordings are always
girls.
great fun. Yeah, I love
Yeah,
live
I wish
recording.
there was a layer of that audience, because I love that.
And it's not too unfounded to have a recording come later in the run. Things like Jesus Christ Superstar, lots of Lloyd Webber actually, Starlight Express. I think maybe there's an...
Is there a Sunset Boulevard? There must be.
Yeah, there's Sunset Boulevard alternate, but they all have like 15th anniversary recordings of that current cast that was then at that point. So to have a Wicked one at the 15th anniversary, let's say, in a few years' time, as opposed to the 10th
why
past
not the
now.
10th?
But I mean, they could have. All right, Rachel's happy. But yeah, they could. I mean, I agree though, because I love Susie Mathers, who played Glinda, who's brilliant. But there's no reason. Like, there is reason you could do that, and I mean, Wicked would get the funding. I mean, people would buy it, as you say.
my God.
Some shows would happen.
Like,
The counter argument to the
you don't not
award
have the money.
though is that there is already the award. You can win the Grammy. As much as people, I think I've seen someone talk about this before. And London Productions can win the Grammy. The Kinky Boots was nominated for the Grammy, the London album. It's just that London. I'm not quite sure if it's London's off the radar because they don't put out many albums, or if it's because they can't afford to submit to the Grammy, because you have to pay entrance fees to awards, so they can't afford the submission fee to submit themselves for a Grammy. Whereas I'm sure Cyndi Lauper could have, they could afford to submit Cyndi Lauper to be nominated for a Grammy. So that's why London isn't represented well there. But you could argue that that's the alternative for that. But I mean, the Grammys at the end of the day is still a heavily American thing. Maybe. I've just had the idea. Maybe the Brits has a cast album arm to it. Maybe the Brits has a cast album.
I loved watching that epiphany there. That was amazing.
That's it. We've got that. Wow. This is like my best ensemble idea of putting the award in.
Yeah. But this is the thing, I just can't.
This is it.
It frustrates
me. The Brits needs the art. Okay, well, sorry, the Olivier's, not the Olivier's. Maybe the Brits.
Yeah.
That would work very well.
Us.
Maybe the Brits would save. And they don't have to do 5. They could do like 3 nominees. And they don't get many albums out a year.
Yeah, because that's the thing. It just really frustrates me that it feels like there's never really.
Or even not a
London
nominee. There could
cast
just be like a winner.
Yeah.
Just a winner that won best album. Best cast.
Because some years there's only one new cast recording that comes out.
I love this
so
idea.
You're automatically the winner because you've done the effort to make the album.
Yeah. I love this idea.
See, I'm full of them.
Wow, the Brits. Yeah, the Brits. Or even like a Radio 1 award or something.
Yeah, just something.
Oh my gosh. We've come up with this idea. That's amazing. Right, Brits, watch out. Right,
Yeah,
my turn, is it now? My turn. Okay. Is it my last
I've just got one more. I don't know how many we've done.
I could have one more.
I feel like we must have done 6 by now, but well.
I do have one more. Yeah, my one more, okay, is I was looking at other award ceremonies and to see what other awards they give, other theatre award ceremonies. So I looked at the Drama Desk Awards in New York, which is their equivalent of the What's on Stage. Actually, it's identical because it's fulfilled by Theatre Mania, which is the same company as What's on Stage.
Yeah.
And what they have an award which is called the Unique Theatre Experience Award, which is just an award for unique theatre experience. And I think it's kind of on par with Entertainment and Family.
Yeah.
So things like Alice at the Vaults would have been nominated for unique theatre experience. But I think that'd be quite nice to distinguish the difference, because I think Entertainment and Family in my head is like Gangster Granny, is like...
the stuff you take the kids to.
The Gruffalo when they did that, or whatever they did, or something like that at the Lyric. You know, they do things like that. I think they're worthy of being Entertainment and Family, but I think something different should be there for intricate, unique experiences like that, or things like
immersive kind of ones
things like Punch Drunk, which is a really popular London immersive theatre experience company. Like they'd be nominated for those awards and stuff. I think it gives a bit of. Not even necessarily because I think they need awards. I think it's more that it would be a really nice way of the secular public realising really that exists, and because it's something that you don't have to be a theatre fan to absolutely love those kind of things. You know, anyone could love that.
You just need to know about
it's
them.
just you just need to know about it, and I think because it's edgy and pun not intended, underground. For things like the Vaults, I think that'd be really cool as well. And similarly, they also have a unique, like a solo performance award for like, so things like The Breasts by Monica Dolan is nominated at the Bush this year for an affiliate theatre award. That's a one-man piece. I mean, there aren't many one-man pieces, and at the Drama Desk, sometimes only have 2 nominees and 1 wins. But I just think that'd be quite a nice thing as well to add on, and maybe not necessarily the Olivier, but maybe it's something like the What's on Stage awards. These are quite good ideas or something, you know.
Yeah, I think the last one I have, it kind of links onto one that you've said, because I've said about like an individual theatre award, not in terms of a performer, but someone like outside of the stage in a sense, I guess, in terms of like diversity and accessibility. So more in terms of how they're trying to make either their production or their theatre, you know, just being more aware of what's going on nowadays, because there's so many different arguments about making theatre more diverse and obviously making sure that people can actually get into shows. So I think it'd be really nice if there was an award for that, because again, it would encourage people to actually do it. And it sounds sad that that's the case, but you know for sure if they could win an award for it, they'd definitely increase their efforts.
Maybe it could come under things like the contribution award, you know,
yeah.
said the one person.
The one
so it could be like I can't think of anything that's accessible. Oh, it could be like Vicky Featherstone at the Royal Court for implementing, you know, she did a Time's Up, women in entertainment movement at the Royal Court. So that would be one of the things that would be listed, and maybe that's kind of what the category could maybe focus on, things like that.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, you know, social movements or things. I can't remember if it was the
Royal Court or somewhere else, but they tweeted something about the fact that around or over 300 tickets for each performance would be under £25 or something.
Oh really?
Maybe it was for the Jungle at.
No, they're doing. It was from the Young Vic, and it was going to the Playhouse.
Oh yes,
they tweeted the day they're going to do at least at least a quarter of their ticket. They're going to do a huge chunk of their tickets on that. And the same as they did it at Heisenberg, Elliot Harper intended to make at least 300. I think it's 100 tickets a performance, so like under £20.
Yeah,
things like that. That's a really good way of encouraging.
Andrew Scott's Hamlet.
Oh yeah, now the Almeida now does an Almeida for free, or you could also have like the Donmars eligible. The Donmar could have their Young and Free.
Yeah, even at their transfer for the Hamlet, I think he insisted.
Oh, did they? Did they do a Young and Free? I went to the Almeida for free performance of Hamlet. There was a week of Almeida for free for young people, you know, who could do that. And I know that as much as you know, there's a real mix of people as well that could be accessible for that. And there are things like, there's been a thing going on Twitter at the moment for Nine Night, which is coming on at the National Theatre. They've been doing a thing to, you know, get a whole group sent to that.
We got cut off.
Sorry, I got cut off there.
We're back.
But I was saying about Nine Night, how there's been a thing going around on Twitter at the moment saying about... sorry, we're out of focus for a second. There we go. Thing about Nine Night, that people were fundraising to try and get a group of people sent to that, the same way they get things like Wrinkle in Time screenings at the moment brought out, you know. Similar idea, to get a group of, I think it was like young black people who were in like a youth community in somewhere, like the Borough of London.
From, like,
so things like that would be, and I think things like that should be applauded, because I think that those schemes not only appeal to people like that who would not get the chance to, they're not necessarily even theatre fans, they're just people that want to see, you know, themselves in entertainment, and that completely changes a vision. I went on a course once at the National Theatre a few weeks ago, and part of that was we were talking to this director who was talking about pieces he's worked on, and he said he did a piece that was kind of like, not like slam poetry, it was more like rap, but kind of articulating your feelings in that way. And part of it was doing showcases or workshops with young people to teach them about that, and that's another way for them to like get out feelings. And I think if you're not introduced to art, it's difficult. There's a whole thing about art that's not necessarily just kind of a bit of fun. It's also a real way for people to get feelings out in ways that appeal to them, because everyone interacts with culture. You know, everyone interacts with music or film, at least, if not theatre. And I think just to kind of be told that you could be a part of that, or don't have to, don't have to professionally, but just kind of recreationally, just to look at that way of things. You don't have to accept it even. And I think things like that are really good at doing that. And you get that scale of people that don't have any accessibility to that. Or you get people like, I'm unemployed, I'm trying to make my way in the career. Yeah. And it's hard to then be able to afford shows as well. So things like that then give, opportunities like that to other young people, like the entry pass scheme, Without entry pass, the National Theatre is my favourite place on the planet, and I wouldn't be able to go to the National Theatre as much. I'd have to pay it, I'd be able to see half as much, if that, if I didn't be able to do that. Whereas now I get to see everything at the National if my finger's quick enough to go and click on the button to go and book the tickets.
That entry pass booking,
But it really affects a lot of young people of our age, and your age as well.
And that's another thing I think as well.
In the matter where you come from.
There's a great amount of schemes for like young people, and I still fit in that bracket, thankfully. But there's an argument as well that obviously there are older people that are still underprivileged.
Well, so I don't know about London, but I know that in my local area, depending on some shows, and Thriller, terrible word to use, Thriller Live, but whenever that comes to our town on tour, and I know other shows do it too, they actually have an unemployed ticket cost as well, and they have the you'll know as well from having worked at in regional theatres, they have that as well. So that is sometimes really applicable, but I think there's a lot more than that, and it's not to say, there are a lot of playwrights and actors who don't even discover it till later on in their career, and they could still be in the same situation.
Exactly.
So I do think it's brilliant. I'm not saying let's jump the gun already, because young people are still a thing that they're doing an amazing job to tackle.
But I just think you need to open out.
I think there needs to be something coming all the way back off this tangent. That it'd be lovely to have some sort of recognition for, as is your idea. That
I think it's a really good idea
to have, just to say to people, that this is a great thing that people are doing.
Yeah, I think we should finish it.
I know, what we do, we got a right tangent. But that's an example of, if you like, the idea of our talkie videos, what you said before.
Yes,
to go into the goodbye segment, we've discussed for a long time now the idea of doing chatty videos of literally, basically we've just done talking about accessibility really, but the whole video on that as opposed to it being a tangent. And we've got a little list.
Accessibility, like different
topics, I'm just saying that's an example of what we've just done. Of any topic, in the theatre, we have opinions that we like to articulate. So if you've enjoyed watching it, we'd love some ideas suggested down below in the comments, and
we will
do some. We'll take another day like this and we'll sit down and do a couple, so we have a few to do. But it'd be really nice to be able to do that, I think, because I like talking out as well. I feel like it's not cathartic, maybe is the right word to use. I feel like I like getting out that thought and
it's
really
nice.
thinking
It's nice to sort of that spark the discussion, I think, because.
And then I know the discussion. You have amazing commenters over on what you're amazing commenters, because whenever I come and check other comments or on videos I watch, I'll come and check the comments. People have such healthy responses. People really get a dialogue going, which is really lovely.
I'm so grateful. Let me have a wanky moment, but I'm so grateful for the little community that I've got around my videos. I never would have imagined that when I started it, that I'd actually get people that just leave really great, insightful comments. So, especially I think on videos like this that do spark comments like that, I think it's really just great to know that you're going to get good comments.
So I think that's what's good about having the discussion, because I'm sure there'll be a big discussion now about accessibility, and downstairs in the comments, which is really nice. So.
And obviously, what categories that you would add to the Oliviers, we would love to know.
We want to know.
That is the core of this video.
Exactly. Not just accessibility. Do you agree with our categories? What other ones are there?
What ones did you add?
The edgier the better, because I think something crazy would be really good fun.
I think it's really fun to think completely out of the box with, especially if you are a theatre fan or fan of other award shows, to think completely crazy on what could be, because until really thinking we should do this video, I never really thought about what other categories there should be. And now it seems like blindingly obvious that there should be one for like the books, for example.
My omission
Like-
one I omitted that I didn't think I could give enough ground to was like puppet design.
Yes.
And there's actually a category for that for drama desk,
Yeah.
which is why I saw it. There's actually
Yeah.
a category for that. So, but things like that, anything that's crazy and edgy.
Let
is
us
really
know,
fun.
because maybe one day we'll be running things.
Yeah, maybe it can happen. Maybe we will. Maybe we'll.
And we'll-
When we're getting that Brit set up for the cast
Yes.
recordings, which is brilliant, and the award that's going to be in, you know, for best ensemble
Yes.
going around to all the theatres. So I think we're onto something here. I think
just
we're onto something.
thank us.
And if you are watching and you're a producer of some sort of Salt or anything, credit us. Maybe name it after us. Or maybe just name it Razusi, because
I was just thinking the Razusi Award.
Maybe just say Razusi.
That is
I'm fine with
so
that. I'm
funny.
absolutely fine if you want to call it
That's
Razusi.
hilarious. Anyway, we really need to wrap this up because we've got a concert to go to.
We have.
But thank you so much for watching. Give the video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it.
Smash that like button.
Smash it.
I do
You
that
need to do
every
it
video.
Every time. Please subscribe if you enjoyed this. We've done a video, as we mentioned, about our full Olivier Award nomination predictions. That will be linked below, so check that out. Go follow Shaun on all his social media because he is fantastic. And we'll see you all very soon. Bye.
Bye.